Dear friend, if there is one meal that will make you throw away all of your home training, it is Quesabirria, aka Birria tacos. From the sizzling sounds of that Mexican Oaxaca cheese melting in your skillet to the dunking of the final product into a thick and highly flavorful consomme, just make sure that your sleeves are rolled up high enough. Birria is a Mexican meat dish, which can be had alone as a soup called a consomme, or like this, tacos. If you're looking for the ultimate comfort food, you just found it. I used beef for this recipe. The traditional recipe uses lamb or goat meat. Whichever meat you choose, ensure that it is more meat than bones. As always, detailed ingredients and instructions are on the site foodsturvs.ca. You want to start off by de-seeding your chiles. Here we have chile guajillo, we have chile ancho, and we have chile árbol. Now, you don't want to skip on rinsing these because mine came super dirty, so went on to rinsing them first. When done rinsing, you want to chop up some onions and garlic, set them aside, and proceed to cutting down your meat. You want to just cut down the meat into manageable chunks. As you can see, I used a boneless cut of meat because I didn't want to deal with any bones. Meat has been cut and rinsed. Now you need to salt the meat lightly and proceed to cooking. Heat up some oil in a deep pot and sear the meats till they have browned nicely. Pro tip here, do not overcrowd the pot with your beef cuts. If you have to sear in batches, then do so. Overcrowding introduces moisture, which then begins to cook the meat rather than browning it. When done searing the meats, you want to set those aside, toss in your chopped onions and your garlic, and fry till fragrant and slightly brown. Go in with 2 tablespoons of tomato paste and begin to fry until it turns bright red. While doing so, in a cheesecloth material, if you don't have cheesecloth, that's okay. You can improvise. Use something else that is as light as cheesecloth material. The most important thing is that the fragrance of all spices that are in this cloth release their fragrance into your sauce. Combine black peppercorns, coriander seeds, cloves, bay leaves, and 1 cinnamon stick. Tie into a knot and also set aside. In your frying tomato paste, it is now time for that rich broth. So I used homemade beef broth. I can't guarantee best results if you use the store-bought broth, but do you, okay? If you want to use homemade beef broth, just ensure that you already had it made prior to making this, or that just might slow down the cooking process. After adding the broth, introduce your meats and chiles. It is time for them to form a bond. Leave them to do their thing. Don't forget to add in your spices, cover and let it cook for 2 hours. After cooking for 2 hours, it is now time to take out all the chiles into a blender. Now, this is where I added in my oregano leaves. I only found the dry ones at my local Mexican store. So I soaked them up to soften them a bit, and then I added it into the chiles. Here you can replace water with some broth or some of the cooking sauce to allow easy blending. Add the blended mix back into your cooking beef, combine, and let it cook for another 2 hours. I know the cooking time might seem a lot, but this is the only way you can come up with soft and tender beef. At a total of 4 hours cooking time, you should have fall off the bone, melt in your mouth, cotton wool texture of meat. If not, throw it all away. Just kidding. Simply give it more time. The longer it cooks, the more tender your beef becomes. And when done, it should be looking like so. Go check on the consomme, taste and add some salt if needed. It is now time for the taco assembling. As I said before, for the cheese, I went to Mexico, okay? I went to the source to buy some Oaxaca cheese. But you certainly can substitute with mozzarella cheese. You want to dunk your corn tortilla into the consomme and place in a hot skillet, preferably a cast iron. Top with the cheese and let it melt slightly before adding some of your shredded beef and some of that rich sauce. Fold and flip over, and there you go. Serve some of your consomme into a ramekin or a little bowl. Add in chopped onion and freshly chopped cilantro. A squeeze of lemon, if you so choose, can also be added here. Birria tacos or quesabirria, a delicious and filling dish. Now, I am almost sure that a taste of this will keep you hooked. Thank you so much for watching. A link to the full recipe is down in the description box. Please subscribe and like. Every time you do so, you help my growing channel. I'll be back with another recipe in my very next video.